5 seconds, that's all it takes for your brain to sabotage you. 5 seconds between knowing what you should do and talking yourself out of it. 5 seconds between action and regret. And right now, you're losing that battle. But what if I told you there's a weapon so simple, so brutal, it kills procrastination before it even breathes? A rule used by Navy SEALs, CEOs, and Olympic athletes to shut down doubt and force action. This isn't motivation. This is a neuroscientific hack. And by the end of this video, you'll wield it to change everything. Have you ever had a moment when you knew exactly what you needed to do, but instead of doing it, you hesitated, overthought, and talked yourself out of it? That tiny gap between intention and action is where procrastination thrives. It's the silent killer of dreams, the thief of time, and the reason so many people never reach their full potential. But what if I told you there's a simple science-backed rule that can shut down procrastination in just 5 seconds? Enter the 5-second rule, a powerful mental tool that flips a switch in your brain, turning hesitation into immediate action. Developed by Mel Robbins, this rule is based on a simple truth. If you don't act on an instinct within 5 seconds, your brain will rationalize why you shouldn't do it. Fear, doubt, and excuses creep in, and suddenly, that task you were about to tackle gets pushed to later, which often means never. Think about the last time you hit snooze instead of getting up for the gym, or scrolled social media instead of starting that project. That was your brain sabotaging you. But the 5-second rule interrupts that self-sabotage by forcing you to move before your mind can overcomplicate things. It's not about motivation, it's about decision-making at lightning speed. Today we're going to break down how this rule works, why it's so effective, and how you can use it to destroy procrastination for good. By the time we're done, you'll have a weapon against hesitation, one that takes just 5 seconds to activate, but can change the trajectory of your life. Picture this. Your alarm blares at 6 a.m. You swore today was the day you'd finally hit the gym. But instead of jumping up, you lie there negotiating 5 more minutes, I'll go tomorrow. Sound familiar? Or maybe it's that report due Friday. You've had weeks to start, yet here you are, binge watching Netflix, promising I'll do it later, while guilt gnaws at you. We've all been there. Procrastination isn't just laziness, it's a silent war between the you who wants success and the you who caves to comfort. Here's the truth. Your brain is wired to resist change. The second you consider doing something hard, your instincts scream danger, not because the task is deadly, but because uncertainty feels risky. That's where the 5-second rule comes in. Psychologist Mel Robbins discovered that when you have an impulse to act, you've got a tiny window, just 5 seconds, before your brain slams on the brakes with excuses. Hesitation is where dreams go to die. But what if you could outsmart that sabotage? What if you could act before doubt kicks in? That's the power of this rule. By the time we're done, you'll have a weapon to shut down procrastination, not with willpower, but with a simple science-backed trick that puts you back in control. Let's break down why this rule works so powerfully. It all comes back to neuroscience. Your brain is hardwired to protect you, but its idea of protection often means resisting anything unfamiliar or uncomfortable. This is called status quo bias, a preference for keeping things the same, even when change would help you. The moment you think about doing something challenging, your brain panics and floods you with reasons to stall. You're tired, do it later, it's not the perfect time. Here's the catch. You have a 5-second window between an impulse and your brain's sabotage. Wait longer, and your prefrontal cortex, the logical overthinking part, takes over, analyzing every possible risk. But if you act within those 5 seconds, you engage the basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot for habits. This shift is crucial. It bypasses paralysis and forces action before doubt sets in. Studies on decision-making show that quick action triggers, like countdowns, reduce hesitation by interrupting the cycle of over-analysis. Athletes, CEOs, and performers use similar tricks to override fear and build unstoppable momentum. The science is clear. Speed beats self-sabotage every time. Here's how you turn this rule into real-world results. It's simpler than you think. First, train yourself to notice those critical moments when your gut says, do it now. whether it's waking up, sitting down to work, or finally having that tough conversation. That split-second instinct is your cue. Hesitation hasn't kicked in yet. Next, the magic happens. The moment you feel that urge, launch into a mental countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like a rocket ignition sequence. This countdown isn't just a timer, it's a psychological interrupt button that short circuits excuses. The key, don't let the countdown finish without movement. On 1, your body must already be in motion. Feet on the floor, hands on the keyboard, voice speaking the first sentence. Action is the only goal. Think of it like jumping into cold water. The longer you stare at it, the harder it gets. But when you leap on 1, there's no room for debate. A student uses it to start studying instead of scrolling. An entrepreneur launches their idea before fear whispers, "You're not ready." Even small wins, sending that email, making the call, build unstoppable momentum. The rule doesn't just break procrastination, it rewires your brain to associate hesitation with action, not avoidance. Every 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a rebellion against the old you who waited for motivation. The new you move first and motivation follows. The brilliance of the 5-second rule lies in its ruthless efficiency against our self-sabotaging tendencies. By creating an artificial sense of urgency with that simple countdown, you effectively short-circuit your brain's fear response before it can talk you out of action. It's like launching yourself over the starting line before the race. Anxiety kicks in. This works because you're exploiting a fundamental truth about human psychology. We're wired to respond to urgency, even when we create it ourselves. Each time you use this technique, you're doing something remarkable, rewiring your brain through neuroplasticity. Just as muscles grow stronger with repetition, neural pathways associated with decisive action become more dominant the more you use them. What starts as a conscious trick soon becomes an automatic response, turning productive behavior into second nature. But perhaps the most transformative power comes from the compounding effect of small victories. Every time you use the rule to push past resistance, you collect proof of your own capability. These moments build upon each other, creating an unshakable foundation of self-trust. You're no longer the person who hesitates, you become someone who acts, who follows through, who keeps promises to yourself. That's when real change happens, not from occasional bursts of discipline, but from the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can count on yourself to show up. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but what about when I just don't feel motivated? Here's the counterintuitive truth. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel ready is like expecting your car to start without turning the key. The moment you move, even reluctantly, you generate the energy you were waiting for. And if you've tried this before and slipped back into old habits, that doesn't mean failure, it means you're normal. Lasting change isn't about perfect execution, it's about consistently showing up. Each time you use the rule, you're strengthening your decisiveness muscle, even if it doesn't always work flawlessly. Some will dismiss this as too simplistic, but that's exactly why it's powerful. Complex systems break down, elegant solutions endure. You don't need elaborate strategies to beat procrastination. You just need to outmaneuver your hesitation in those critical 5 seconds. The resistance you feel isn't a sign the rule isn't working. It's proof you're exactly where growth happens. Every great achiever faces these same doubts. What separates them is their willingness to act anyway. The simplicity is the superpower, because when motivation fails and willpower falters, counting backward from 5 never gets more complicated. Now comes the moment that separates spectators from game changers. Your turn to act. Tomorrow morning, I challenge you to deploy this rule just 3 times: when your alarm rings, when you're tempted to delay an important task, and when opportunity knocks but fear whispers, wait. That's all it takes to begin rewriting your story. I remember staring at a blank screen for weeks, paralyzed by perfectionism, until I used 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to type the first sentence that launched my career. Those small, decisive moments became the turning points I almost talked myself out of. This isn't about radical transformation overnight. It's about winning those daily battles where life's trajectory actually changes. The job applications sent instead of overthought, the difficult conversations had instead of avoided, the ideas launched instead of doubted. These are the 5-second choices that compound into extraordinary results. Your future isn't shaped by grand sweeping gestures, but by these microscopic moments of courage repeated daily. So when that next impulse hits, to create, to connect, to begin, remember, the universe rewards the brave who act before their doubts can catch up. 5 seconds. That's all that stands between the life you have and the life you want. Who will you become when you start trusting yourself to move? Procrastination isn't a time management problem, it's a fear management problem. Every time you hesitate, you're giving fear a vote in your life. But when you use the 5-second rule, you take back control, you become the kind of person who doesn't wait for motivation. You create it through action. Imagine looking back a year from now at all the small 5-second decisions that led to big results. The workouts you didn't skip, the opportunities you didn't miss, the version of yourself you didn't deny. That's the power of this rule. It doesn't just kill procrastination, it unlocks momentum. So starting right now, commit to this. When you feel that nudge to act, don't think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Your dreams are waiting on the other side of that countdown. Let's move. 5 seconds. That's all that separates who you are from who you're meant to be. 5 seconds between staying stuck and becoming unstoppable. Between someday, this isn't magic. This is your brain on a deadline, your dreams with an expiration date. And starting now, this isn't magic. This is your brain on a deadline, your dreams with an expiration date. And starting now,